I try to say goodbye and I choke. Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to my channel. I am your fave nurse B. So let's talk about something that I've gotten a question about a few times here and there. How long should I be studying for? Like, how long do you study a week? When you were in nursing school, how many hours did you study a week? This is a very, very good question, but it's kind of like, I can't just give you one answer. So here we go. Long-winded nurse B finna give y'all a whole video. I do have a specific time that you can use to study, which I will put at the end of this video. Y'all gotta watch the whole video. But let me just answer this question in the best way that I can. So instead of focusing on how many hours should I study per week, you need to be focusing on results. You need to be focusing on understanding the material. You need to be focusing on or asking yourself, how can I use the time that I have to study at the most optimal, way possible, in the most optimal way possible. So what does that mean? So for me, I worked full time, okay, as a CNA the entire time I was in nursing school and graduated at the top of my class, and I got nursing school notes for $10 available on my website www.yourfavNurseB.com. Go check it out. They are available for you for purchase. Valedictorian notes. Yes, I am putting myself out there. Okay. So, but anyways, I did that while in nursing school. The way I did it was, one, taking really, really great notes. What I did was I used all of my time that I had to study. If I was in class, I sat there and I recorded the lecture. If you watch videos, you know I do this all the time. I talk about this all the time. But I sat there, recorded the lectures, and I took notes while I was in school. Now, I know right now you can't necessarily do that right now because of all this stuff going on. I understand. But if you do take classes, if you're in school and you go to school, physically, definitely take notes and study while you're in class. Don't use that time. That could be, 5+ hours out of your day that you could have put towards writing out flashcards. You don't have to think when you're doing flashcards. You should kind of sit there and think as you're writing it, okay? But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just kind of write it and just go from the book and kind of just paraphrase things and do that and be done with it. Get it out the way. Then study it once you get home. Then once you have your flashcards or your study material, you need to use that anytime that you have. Use that study material when you're in the checkout line, while you're at work and you got a second to look at it. Make yourself little study, things, little booklets, little brochures, little whatever to study. Little one-pagers of information packed into one page. Concept maps packed into one page. And I have videos talking about how you can do all this stuff already. So go watch them. They're very, very helpful for med surg, for pharmacology, for fundamentals, pretty much for anything you can do some type of concept map or chart for it. And I have videos. Even about I got videos, so go watch them. Okay. But no, for real. You can do that and then just use whatever time you have to study it. But that's just the practical, physical way of actually doing it. But what I would suggest that you all do, instead of focusing on the time of studying, you need to be like, okay, I need to get X, Y, and Z done within the next hour. Focus your energy on getting it done. Now, you might not be able to just sit there and read a whole chapter. You might have to go through and skim it. You might have to go through and read the headlines, read the first part of it, look at the first sentence, look at the last sentence, kind of just like, okay, like, what do you call it? Like flash read your way through it or quick read your way through it, and just to get it done. And then look at the chapter summary. And then write little notes off of that, or write flashcards off of that, and then do some questions and then go back. If you come to a question you don't know the answer to, go back in the chapter and be like, and then that's when you learn about that, that subject or that ideal or whatever in depth. As you're doing questions, do it. You might have to just find creative ways to do it. But I definitely highly suggest that you look at your study material every day. Throughout the day, you can sit there and you can read the chapter and you can record yourself reading it, because I know right now you might not be able to record your professor lecturing. It might be a little bit different now. I don't know. I'm not in school during this time. I should be there come January in nursing school, and it might be online, but I don't know if you can record your teacher. But if you can, record your teacher, listen to that lecture later on during the day, when you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're washing clothes, whatever, throughout your day, listen to it. But you can sit there and record yourself talking, and then play that back for yourself throughout the day, like I said again. But just allow yourself to come in contact with the material over and over and over again. Don't focus on how many hours. Now, I know people are like, I don't know. Why do y'all ask that question? Let me know. Is it because you're trying to structure your day? Right? So if you know you only got 2 hours within that day, you need to focus on how can I get through this material, through this chapter within these 2 hours. Or if you know you have to get, what do you call it? If you know, like one of my professors, I was telling him like, I can't read this stuff quick enough. He was like, okay, you need to, I was like, I need to know how much time I should study. Something he told me to do was, he was saying, read, like sit down and read a page. Because I was a lit major before I was a nurse. He was like, read this page in this book. And I was probably reading some freaking Dostoevsky, okay, some freaking Pushkin, okay. Pushkin not that hard, but you know, if you ever read Crime and Punishment, it's a long read. So I was reading that. He said, read a page and time yourself. How long does it take you to read one page? Okay. Once you see how long it takes you to read one page, and you know you need to read 300 pages within the next week, then you tell yourself, okay, it takes me 5 minutes to read one page, and I need to read, I don't know, let's say 100 pages within the next week. So tell me if I'm doing the math right. If I ain't doing it right, I'll put how much that is right here, okay? So if it takes me 5 minutes to read one page, I need to read 100 pages. I do 5 minutes times 100. That'll give me 500. I divide that by 60 minutes. It'll lead to 8.3 hours, right? So let's just say 8.5 hours, right? I'm hoping that's the right math. So it takes me 8.5 hours to read this. So if I need to get it done by next week, then I probably should spend about an hour and 15 minutes a day reading, so I can get through this freaking book. Now, it might take a little bit less, might take a little bit more. Give yourself a little bit more time, but do that. Try to see like what's your average time doing one thing, and then time your schedule around that. Just be very practical about it. If you are doing flashcards and you say, okay, I really want to do flashcards, but they're so time consuming, listen to that lecture while you're doing flashcards, right? And then sit there and just focus on doing your flashcards as quickly as you can. Doing your flashcards, boom. When you do flashcards, you do not have to do it in a way that's like, you don't have to learn as you're doing them. Now, an effective way to do flashcards is to sit there and really study the information and really be like, yes, that's what it is. Okay. And really like digest the information. But you can literally just look, if you're doing flashcards based off definitions, like, you know, what do they call them? Like, I don't know, words to know, whatever. Keywords. You don't have to learn them keywords as you're writing up the flashcards out. Just write it. Just write it out verbatim or paraphrase it from the book, okay? Just write it out. That way, you're just getting it done as quickly as possible. Just getting the information out there. And then, as you're studying the flashcards, that's when you take more time to study it. You get what I'm saying? So see how long it takes you to make your flashcards. Maybe if you're doing like a chapter, maybe you did like a quick read through the chapter. Okay, great. And then now you're working on your flashcard. Maybe it took you like 30 minutes to do a quick read through the chapter. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to do these flashcards. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to get these done. Time, like, challenge yourself. When I want to get something done and I'm like, I don't really want to do it, I'm like, look, you got 20 minutes to clean this room. You got 20 minutes to get this house straightened up. Let's just do it. I will have laser focus on it because I'm kind of a little bit competitive with myself. I know it's weird, but it's like a challenge. Like, okay, let me get this done. And it just makes your energy just flows through it a lot better. And it kind of makes it a little bit more fun to do it. I think maybe I'm just a nerd. I don't know. But anyways, challenge yourself to get it done. That's just that. You got to challenge yourself to get it done. So you say, okay, it takes me, let's just round it off. It takes me a full hour to skim through the chapter and to make flashcards. Okay, I got to get through 5 chapters this week. All right, great. It's going to take me 5 hours to get that done. Okay, let me divide that up throughout my week. And then I have a video talking about how to do, it's called a 5-day study plan. Go watch it. I'll have everything linked down below. I got videos for everything. Got a whole playlist. So I'm just putting it out there. I need to take my own advice when I go to nursing school because it's going to be hard, y'all. But do that. And then, okay, so it takes me that long to do it. Okay, but I really do want to get back and read the chapter in depth, more and more in depth. Okay, so it's going to probably take me 30, 45 minutes to read it in depth. It probably won't take you that long to read the chapter in depth after you've already skimmed through it and you read the chapter like objectives and you made flashcards. When you go back and read it in depth, it probably will not take that long. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself and you're giving your mind chance after chance after chance of seeing that material over and over and over again. So you're actually like, you're learning it again, you're learning different parts of it at different times, and you're just digesting it a little bit easier. So if it's daunting for you to sit there and read a whole chapter, don't. Just skim through it. Look at the figures, look at the charts, look at the tables within it, look at the keywords, look at some of the little case studies that they have. Just skim through that chapter, read that chapter outline, do your notes, and then go back and do in-depth reading. Okay? Or like I said, you could do the questions along with the reading and kind of like do the questions kind of thing. I don't know, what could it be? And then go back and read through like, oh, that's why that's the answer. Or you could wait and do questions at the end and use that as part of your studying to actually make sure you understand the material, right? That's probably one of the best ways to do it. But do what fits you. I know the time is a thing, and I understand it's a real exact thing. You want to know how, you want to have those finite understanding of, okay, how long do I have to study? But it's going to vary, because what if you come into the nursing world already as a CNA? So it might take you less time to study because you kind of have a point of reference. What if you come into the nursing game and you already have an associate's degree in something else? Like me, I already had an associate's degree in liberal arts. Before I became a nurse. So I already understood, I knew how to read. Honey, if you don't learn nothing when it comes to liberal arts school, you learn how to read. Okay? Like, because you were reading a lot of stuff, and I was kind of like going towards lit major, so I was always reading stuff. So, and I'm already an auditory learner, so reading comes to me pretty easily. So with that being said, I already had that basis there. So it just really depends on where you are as a student, right? So you can't always compare yourself to other people, but I get it. You want to know like how much should I put towards it, but just focus on getting an understanding, focus on making study materials, and focus on using whatever time you have at your advantage, okay, for your advantage. And always test yourself on the things that you're learning. You're not going to know if you know it unless you test yourself. So always do in-class questions. Always do study groups if you can, and have people ask you questions. Look at your flashcards and ask you questions. Use their flashcards, because they might have different information on their flashcards. You may have memorized, okay, whatever that word, memorized your flashcards, so you could just say it out the gate, but you don't understand how to apply it. So that person, have them ask you questions in a different way, you know. Or look at the course objective and ask those questions after you get done studying, so that you can be like, do I really understand how this happens or how that happens? Like, do I understand the disease process of this without looking at my flashcards? Say it to yourself out loud. Like I said, do study groups, do virtual study groups, whatever. It was something else. Oh, so here is the exact amount of time. Like that this was way back. My advisor was like, this is like the time that you should put towards each class. So he said, shout out to you. Okay. He was like, it was his name. Was it Mark? Was his name Mark? Yes, it was. Okay. His name was Mark. He was like, however many credit hours it is per class, you should then do 3 hours per credit hour. So if it's a 3 credit hour course, then you need to do 9 hours of studying per week for that class. So then if you're taking, I don't know, 4 classes, 4 classes that are 3 credit courses. That's 36 hours per week that you should put towards studying. And say you study every single day, that puts you at a little over 5 hours a day of solid study time. Now, of course, you can spread that out throughout the day. It does not have to be you sitting down for 5 hours. It should not be you sitting down for 5. I mean, it could be, but take some breaks here and there. But yeah, take breaks like every 45 minutes, like a 10 or 5-minute break. Every 45 minutes, literally walk away from your desk and go somewhere else. But yeah, that's what that, let me make sure that math's right. If my math's not right, let me know, y'all. Math, sometimes you a little funny with the math. But when it comes to money, honey, I can do some math, okay? I might not be able to do it for the video, but if I need to do some math, I'm going to get that math right. But anyways, so yeah, what did I say? You have 3 times 3. That's 9. Okay, we got that one. Times, what did I say? You take 5 classes or 4 classes? Did I say 5? Whatever, let's say you take 5 classes that are, well, let's take 4. Let's say you take, yeah, let's do 4. So 9 times 4, 36, divided by 7. 36 divided by 7. Days out of the week, it's a little bit over 5 hours a day. So you just break that out throughout your week and see how you can do it. Maybe one day you can do a whole 8 hours. Maybe one day you can only do 2 hours and just move it around. But like I said, don't get so bogged down by the time. If anything, use that time to challenge you. I only got 2 hours. If you already know it takes me such and such amount of time to read one chapter, it takes me such and such amount of time to do my study materials, like my flashcards, it takes me such and such amount of time to do questions. If you had to have an outline of how long it takes you to do things, then you can be like, okay, I got 2 hours. Within this 2 hours, I know I can read this whole chapter. You might not be able to do study materials, but you can read that whole chapter and really be focused on that whole chapter and underline certain things or highlight certain things and be focused on that one chapter within those 2 hours. Does that make sense? Let me know. I know it's talking kind of fast. My battery's about to go out. Not my battery, but my memory's about to go out my phone on my... Talking too fast. Mercury retrograde. Okay, it really is Mercury retrograde. My throat is burning. And check out my second channel, Stay Forever True. It is a lifestyle channel that talks about me outside of my Nurse B persona. If you all like these earrings, remember you can go to my Etsy shop. It's a great way to support the channel, to support a family-owned, female-owned, mommy-owned, nurse-owned, okay, business. I love making these. It's a great way for me to be able to still make content because I ain't got to go work for nobody else. I can just make these for you all and you will love them and enjoy them. So yeah, go check out my Etsy shop and also go to my website, YourFavNurseB.com. Like I said, for my study notes and materials. Also go over to my Instagram, YourFavNurseB1. And if you want to meet like-minded individuals, go ahead and join the Facebook group, YourFavNurseB. I have everything in my description box. Thank you so much for watching. Down below, please put like some study tips that you have. Put how much time do you put towards studying, or put how much time do you have to study. Okay, that's something else. If you know you work all the time, think about how much time I have each day to really study and try to just do what you can and jam it up in there. Jam it up in there, y'all. Okay, so yeah. That's that. Let the conversation keep going in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe because it does help the channel, okay? It helps me to be able to put out more content for you all. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Peace.